honorable ministers of state, distinguished traditional leaders, respected business leaders, chief directors, development partners, distinguished guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the 2025 Kwahu Business Forum, an important platform where Ghana's brightest entrepreneurial minds converge to reimagine our economic prospects and explore innovative strategies for business growth and national development. I am especially privileged to welcome His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama. Good, I'm vertically challenged, so I think I'll struggle. President of the Republic of Ghana, to the majestic Kwahu Mountains, widely regarded as the cradle of business ingenuity and entrepreneurship in our country. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, the government of Ghana remains firmly committed to resetting the country's development agenda with a focus on creating an enabling environment that is responsive to private sector needs and capable of driving investment in strategic sectors. This year's theme, the future of business, the role of financial sector, stresses the critical importance of aligning our financial systems with national development priorities to support entrepreneurship, industrialization, and inclusive economic growth. At the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, we are spearheading the transformation through the Business Regulatory Reform Program, a cross-cutting initiative that coordinates reforms across 50 institutions, including NMDAs, private sector associations, and professional bodies. Key institutions such as Registrar of Companies, Ghana Revenue Authority, Lands Commission, EPA, Ghana National Fire Service, Judicial Service, and Bank of Ghana. All these are the forefront of this effort. Our achievements so far include the establishment of a centralized electronic registry of business laws and an online public consultation portal on business regulations. This year, a top priority is the passage of the Business Regulatory Reforms Commission Bill, which will institutionalize these reforms, mediate public-private sector concerns, and enforce regulatory impact assessment. Furthermore, our National Development Blueprint places great emphasis on building strong partnership across 3 core levels: government to government, government to business, and business to business. Nananum colleagues, business leaders. In today's rapidly evolving global trade landscape, Ghana is taking bold steps to position itself strategically for increased market access and competitiveness. Our key initiative focused on export development, trade facilitation, and the provision of financial and technical support to businesses. Our flagship Accelerated Export Development Program is designed to empower Ghanaian exporters to penetrate regional and international markets, including ECOWAS, the EU, and UK, focusing on high potential sectors such as garments, processed food, and pharmaceuticals. Together with the Ghana Export Promotion Authority and the National After Coordination Office, the ministry is embarking on targeted export expeditions to deepen trade relationships and improve market access. I am pleased to announce that under a special initiative by His Excellency the President, I'll be leading a high-powered private sector delegation to China to pursue targeted B2B engagement that promises to unlock significant economic opportunities between our countries. I urge all local and international partners to seize the opportunity presented by this forum and future ones as vital platforms for cultivating strategic business alliances that contribute meaningfully to sustainable economic development. We are also working closely with the Ministry of Finance to implement sustainable solutions that will ease constraints on the business community, especially in customs operation, rules of origin certification, and compliance with international trade protocols and thereafter, EU, EPA, and the UK TPAs. Under the leadership of His Excellency the President, we have partnered with the Ghana Export and Import Bank and Ghana Investment Promotion Center to design to suit financial incentives, export credit guarantees, technical grants, and concessionary loans aimed at bolstering the competitiveness of our local businesses on the world stage. These initiatives seek directly with the theme, the future of business, the role of the financial sector, as they highlight the indispensable role of finance in shaping sustainable business growth and unlocking Ghana's full economic potential. Distinguished participants, recognizing the critical role of agribusiness in driving industrial growth, my ministry has been realigned by His Excellency by Legislative Instrument EI-1 2025 to prioritize investment in high-demand raw materials, particularly agricultural input for processing and exports. To this end, we are implementing Feed the Industry program, which promotes contract commercial farming of grains, oil, seeds, and meat, ensuring reliable supply chain for agro-industrial processing, and thus we are working closely with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. A key initiative under this program is the development of the Afram Plains Agro-Industrial Zone with a focus on cassava, maize, and soya bean value chain. We appeal to our revered traditional leaders to support this effort through land availability and encourage the business community to invest in agro-processing. In addition, we are supporting agro-processing clusters in sectors such as food, beverages, cassava derivatives, and cosmetics, with a strong focus on women-led businesses by providing training, equipment, and market access. Your Excellency, as part of your Rapid Industrialization for Job initiative, the Ministry is promoting strategic value addition, revive defunct industries, and scale up production for both domestic and international markets. Under this initiative, we aim to establish, with the help of the private sector, 3 state-of-the-art garment factories, each with the capacity to provide 3,000 jobs per shift, creating a total of 27,000 jobs under the 24-hour economy policy. We are also set to launch the pharmaceutical manufacturing development policy, offering robust incentives to encourage local production of essential medicines. I invite our pharmaceutical stakeholders to seize the opportunity and scale up operations for local and export markets. The Ministry is currently finalizing a component manufacturing policy to support the automotive sector, with a special call to our industry power dealers at Obosokan, Kokompe, Swami Magazi to consider investment in vehicle component manufacturing. In line with our inclusive development goals, we are rolling out targeted initiatives to empower women and youth through access to funding, skills training, and access to markets. Ladies and gentlemen, I warmly welcome everybody to visit the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness, and Industry exhibition stand, where you can explore the immense potential of Ghana's trade, agribusiness, and industry sectors. Our agencies are ready to engage and collaborate with you. I wish you all fruitful deliberation through this forum and encourage you to enjoy the breathtaking views and vibrant culture of Kwahu during these Easter festivities. You are warmly welcome, and I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Minister of Trade and Industry. And Pennyfo said, Urefi Nawasankofa Yenchi. For a function of such magnitude to be successful, there must be an able and competent personality who steered affairs of the function to a successful end. And when we conferred with the proverbial old lady, we found no other person than Achemfo Esiedu Ajeman, the third, a Betifi Hene and a Donten Hene of Kwahu traditional area. Iti Nana Ebema Nemuso na Wamayen, a year chairman's remarks. Iti Mepacho, can we get a microphone for Nana?
Medi Kamida Okasafo Nase. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, Honorable Julius Debra, Chief of Staff of the Presidency, Honorable Ministers of State, Honorable Trade Minister, Honorable Members of Parliament present, representative of the various banks who have been invited to come to this occasion, various business representatives here, Nananom invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Yedi kan no mesrem na me de mekasa no akọ yan kasa etwi kasa. MNGP ese enedey jumadi atise na ya frame se memra metena proti na menhwe ma jumadi ne nko awie papa. Yedi kan me de nchia me fi nananom ene kwauman eba yan president ene edomo a omudi nachi ene ne bae na ene na otwe aye wo mu yi akwakoye edapon na bia se yebodin ewo ewiase amansan nyina oman bia wuntimi nyini mfim na yade se edapon na ato ono ewo Ghana ha nititiru no eye Kwahu na dodo no etaka Kwahu Easter na eye manage se dey a ye ma ne yade hye a womo amanone ne womo Ghana ha nkronkro su nyina no aba na womo babema ye hia edi se Kristofo afahye na Jumedia eye Kwahu Business Forum esoso no yede ahye sabre mu. Your Excellency, Kwahu man eye kuro oman bi a efi bretentin a ye establish Kwahu na obi a hu ye se Kwahu ye dwadifo a ukọ Ghana man nyina mia bia edwadie ekoso a wonkọ a wonhu Kwahu ni wo ho. Nisa enti no enya nwanwa ese enedey Your Excellency enam ne nisuade hu na watumi afre nipa bi a one wo twaka ewo edwadie emu ese wo momra na wo ma metie Kwahufo entrepreneurs wo mo ehaw na ohaw ni mu no wo mo nhwe kwan yo betumi afa so no mo de aboa Kwahufo hyase nketuam dodo no a womo abie businesses akese no na onyame nchade enam anisuade hu a ewo won anim na enuoba bi a womo de fa so enti no amayanya businesses akese a omuti efi Kwahu man mu enti and touchil ese se dwumadie eba so ewo Kwahu ha. Your Excellency, Minister Trade Trade Minister bia ye Kwahufo adamfo enam se Kwahufo eyedwadifo nti akasa bebre akira kwan horo a obefa so na nadaroma odi aboa yade hye ne yema ewo Kwahu ha a wo ma bie businesses ne wo mo a on person be wura mu so no akwanya ada ho ma won na on betumi de wura mu ye da na so papa na ebesre yade hye ne se mon take this opportunity na monfa into anamon na yenya businessmen any businesswomen bebre e wo Kwahu man mu ha Minister esan ekasa fa agric na ye ne gise bria your excellency eyi obi se omeye agric minister no or the agri business kan ho na Kwahu ha no Eastern region nyina nsa asetam no wochemu miensa Kwahu ekuremu 1/3 a wotra Kwahu na afo ha yi na wotwa fra no ekonachi a yefre hwa from plains no a Kwahu wasase tam kase da ho a eye ebua edwa akuaye na anu yehu se agric minister eko esire moment fi eko bie fund bia no na eye manage enam se eye yenuanom a wono wasire moment fi no a na wo benefit from say facility no na oka ye de ba bedu voter ese wo mo so benya benefit ni bi baabi mante so bo Kwahu din mesrep agric minister ewo ha na da Roma omram yenko yensa ase ye da afram no ano nipa bebre ahya se ye adwuma wo ho irrigation ene de ka ho nti se facility no yenuanom ewo esire moment fi no enya say facility $20 million no a na da Roma ompe bi enso so ma yade hye ene ye ma wo mo so yekua wo ye Kwahu ha no na ye won saase ahoro bebre wo Kwahu ha ye betumi ede aye se adwuma no beye mfie mienu ni so the previous government no through the minister for agric ema ye be prepare saase akese ewo afram plains wo ene Kwahu east a nanka wo de bua akuafo a dams akese ka ho ye besre o mampanyi se wo mantumi anwie na wo koye na da Roma won to asoma na de hye wo Kwahu na eyade e betumi aboa papa ebeye na nsanie mitu anamo me ko na mse me so me donate nsase ni bi de mai na me ko ano ha yi a ye Kwahu east ha edie no yemi hu ye ne se enua no a aban aboka me tutu no eni land no ya prepare ni nyina no a start fu enam se yenwie ye ene dam so a start ye so yentumi nwie ye na yetumi wi a ebema a lot of employment aba ama ye Kwahu a ye wo Kwahu anafo ha na dodo ni dua vegetables to say gene carrot cucumber ene vegetables ahoro na eya nwanwa se yen akua yen manfo eto gene efi ye manfo eto gene efi Burkina fo so peye gene ni pa into your excellency ye best say wadaroma pe na ehwe mayen na yentimi enwie project no me ma me kasa akọ awieye no your excellency me ankasa aso me dia me de me fam abribi atwa be ye mfie enkron nie utu anamo bi e ma Kwahu man na wo hya ase ese obesi hospital bi e de amayen e wo abetifi wadawma wo ye du baabi but na me sefo fi anto ata e no adware abam no beti sabre baabi a wo ye ya odigya ho no saa pepe ne da so wo ho wadaroma eno ne the only hospital as utimi si wi a eye government hospital aban na asi amako man ni aka nyina ye mission hospitals a to be a SDA for ni si enkoko eye Roman into wadaroma ye besrew na wahwe se adwumadie no na wawie e de amaye bedamase
Yamonsem emanana yamonsem manana nana yedase bebre wanu hwam At this point, with a round of applause, let's welcome onto the podium the minority leader in Parliament, Honorable Afenyo Makins. Marking.
I don't know why people keep calling me Markins. But anyway. Omahin or Abetifi. Oman Mumpayinfo. Our Kwahu. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Deborah, Honorable Ministers of State, MP from Praeso, MP for Abetifi, other colleague MPs here present, captains of industry and industry players, distinguished members of the business community, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Permit me to start with a little bit of an experience in industry. As a young man, I started a transport business. My trading partners were Kwahus. They supplied me spare parts and ties on credit. I went through difficult times with the banks, getting loans at high interest, and my workers letting me down. I recall a situation where at Guinness, Ghana, where I was transporting their drinks, at the end of a month, they would deduct all the losses I've made, and then my check was just too small to even pay my loan. And my tie suppliers and spare parts dealers will be on me. I have to pay them. But what happened? Drivers will go and park and play football. They will park and steal some of the drinks and sell. At Awaso, where I was running the bauxite business, drivers will park, they don't care. At a point, I had to bring an expert from Canada to assist me. Though we had a transport manager, but the Obroni's face did a change for us, and I had to pay dollars. I remember my days at the weekend court because I had to pay SNET and I was defaulting. And the workers did not really care. And they would even go and report to you that you've not paid their SNET. And they will use their union to do aluta. The businessman is really suffering. And I also recall when there was a change of government in 2008 and the new government came into office, I was running from Bupe, Aflao to Bupe. We'll pick gypsum from Tablibo in Togo, go to Aflao, drop some for diamond cement, and continue to Bupe. And then at each point, axle load, they would deliberately stop my trucks, and other trucks would be passing because they said that boy is an MPP boy. My partner had to rush to Vice President John Dramani Mahama, as he then was. And he had to intervene to call those boys to order. Because I told my partner to tell him that the diamond cement factory in Bupe, if they don't get the limestone, they won't produce the cement, and it will affect his area. Did we go or did we come? Indeed, I needed to give you this background so that those of you in private business will relate, so that we know where we are starting from and what is expected of us as a political class. Let me say it's an honor to join you for this second edition of the Kwahu Business Forum, an important platform that continues to inspire fresh thinking about Ghana's economic future, while reminding us that the future of our nation is deeply intertwined with the active participation of the private sector, particularly the strength of its indigenous businesses and the vision of its entrepreneurs. The theme for this year, the future of business, the role of the financial sector, is not only timely but foundational. No economy can thrive where access to finance remains elusive. Ghana's economic future will depend heavily on the strength, agility, and the resilience of its business community, and on the strategic role of the financial sector that it plays in supporting, particularly, our indigenous enterprises to scale up and succeed. When we empower local businesses with the capital and confidence they need to grow, we do more than boost productivity. We open up the pathways for job creation. And in a country where youth unemployment remains one of our most urgent national challenges, building a strong and inclusive financial ecosystem is not just an economic imperative, it is also a social one as well. Now, championing entrepreneurship. As I've already indicated, as someone who over 2 decades not only found himself in public service, but also in the private enterprise, I understand the hurdles that define the entrepreneurial journey. I have walked the often unpredictable road of private enterprise, and so I know firsthand the thrill of opportunity and the weight of challenges that every Ghanaian entrepreneur must carry. I understand what it means to raise capital, to innovate through constraints, and to stay resilient in the face of shifting market dynamics and a fragile entrepreneurial ecosystem. These personal experiences have deepened my conviction that entrepreneurship is not just a livelihood, it is nation building. It is also what continues to shape my passion for championing policies that support and empower Ghanaian entrepreneurs and the private sector, because I don't just sympathize with their journey out of theory, I identify with it from lived experience. I understand their struggles, their sacrifices, and their ambitions. It is precisely because of this that I believe, as a political class, we have a responsibility to depoliticize entrepreneurship, to create an ecosystem where business owners can thrive without fear of being tagged or targeted. We must celebrate enterprise and actively cultivate an environment where hard work and creativity is rewarded. Entrepreneurship must not be viewed through a political lens. The success of a business should never depend on which political regime is in power, nor should it be stifled by partisan labels. Our role as political leaders is not to frustrate private sector actors, but to foster a fair and enabling environment where merit, innovation, and hard work thrive. And as we nurture this culture of enterprise, we must also take a hard look at how we extend opportunity, particularly to the youth. They must be supported only when they must not be supported only when they wear our party colors. They must be supported when they demonstrate potential, creativity, and drive. Ghana's future cannot be built on partisan loyalty. It must be built on merit. Those who deserve opportunity should be given opportunity, regardless of political affiliation. That is how we build a nation. That is how we create competition. And that is how we create progress in a nation. I believe that the time has come for Ghana to consider establishing a national orientation program built around these values, one that instills a renewed sense of civic responsibility, discipline, hard work, and enterprise in our national psyche. We must deliberately shape a new Ghanaian mindset, one that values hard work over shortcuts, merit over connections, and contribution over entitlement. The public sector is already choked, and the jobs of the future will be created in the private sector. This is the mindset people need to have. Such a program, especially if targeted at the youth, could play a transformative role in reshaping national attitude and helping us build a country where excellence is expected, rewarded, and sustained. The role of the financial sector in the growth of indigenous business cannot be overstated. For our economy to thrive, we must ensure that financial institutions play a more proactive role in supporting local enterprises, not only in providing capital, but also in creating the opportunities that will allow these businesses to grow and ultimately contribute to job creation on a national scale. It is imperative that the financial sector adjusts its approach, becoming more attuned to the needs of small and medium-scale enterprises, particularly those led by young Ghanaian entrepreneurs. We must bridge the gap between access to finance and entrepreneurial potential by developing financial products and solutions tailored to the specific challenges faced by our local businesses. Your Excellency, by doing so, we shall cultivate industries that are sustainable, innovative, and grounded in the realities of our local context. This shift will help transform the business landscape, making local enterprises the backbone of our economy and key drivers of job creation. As financial institutions, you are expected to rise to this challenge. You would not just provide capital, but become true partners in the growth of a prosperous Ghana. I conclude by thanking Your Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, for putting together a platform like this, which continues to shape the future of business in Ghana. This initiative is crucial for not only promoting dialogue, but also translating those conversations into tangible actions that can propel us toward a brighter economic future. I would like to also acknowledge the contribution of all the industry players present. Let this be the beginning of sustained support for entrepreneurship in Ghana, so that together we can forge a path toward a brighter and more prosperous economic future. To the entrepreneurs, and here let me mention my respected colleague, Brian Achampon of Rock City fame. I was touched with what I saw, how he has transformed his little community as a major business hub. These and many more are what we expect from us, the indigenous entrepreneurs. Let me urge others to take full advantage of the opportunities. Invest boldly in your dreams, for they are the foundation of our collective future. To us as political leaders, the time has come. Let's not only be committed in words, but let us be committed in real terms in supporting entrepreneurs and the private sector. Let us work together to build a business ecosystem where success is driven by merit, hard work, and opportunity, and not by politics. Let me take the opportunity to thank you for this continued effort in creating a forum that will bring initiatives together. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make it great and strong. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minority Leader. Let's give it up for him. Let's give it up for him. Next to mount the podium is the Majority Leader in Parliament, Honorable Mahama Ayariga.
Our chairman and Adontin of the Kwahu traditional area and chief of Abetifi, who is ably flanked by his various traditional leaders who are here. Your Excellency, honorable ministers, colleague members of Parliament, esteemed business leaders, entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, let me stand on established protocol and permit me to be very brief because I come before the Messiah himself. I commend Your Excellency and the Chief of Staff for establishing this forum as a platform both to acknowledge the entrepreneurial spirit of the Kwahu people and as a rallying point for entrepreneurship across the country. A 24-hour economy became the rallying cry of our just ended campaign, which gave us a resounding victory because it represented enterprise, business, and most importantly, jobs for our teeming youth. That is why it was a very popular rallying point for the campaign. The private sector is the engine of growth, and the business leaders are the drivers and operators of the engine. They are the job creators, and they are the innovators that we must nurture, grow, and sustain. And this platform demonstrates Your Excellency's commitment to this very task. Your Parliament, the Parliament of Ghana, the People's Parliament, stands ready to do whatever it takes to support your agenda to ensure growth and create jobs that are equitable. Our various committees will support their sector ministers and the enterprises that work up to those sectors to identify their challenges, fashion out appropriate recommendations to help them solve those challenges. And we will monitor your ministers to ensure that they are delivering according to the promises you made to Ghanaians. The Parliament will also monitor and ensure the implementation of the promises to incubate and develop enterprises across the country. And the NDC manifesto is full of programs that aim to achieve that. And this budget that got passed has significant allocations aimed at implementing those promises. And our job in Parliament will be to monitor and ensure that this happens. So far, Your Excellency, you have taken bold steps to support local enterprises. People may not be paying attention, but let me give one or two examples. This Parliament that just went on short recess, His Excellency the President directed that 80% of the common fund must be sent directly to the local assemblies. None of it should remain in Accra. This money, when it gets to the local assemblies, will be used to pay for the services of local entrepreneurs and businesses who will be providing services to the local assemblies. And by my estimation, in 4 years' time, not less than 5 or 6 billion Ghana cedis would have hit the accounts of the local assemblies, which would have been used to service contracts by local enterprises, and that will nurture the growth of local entrepreneurship across the country in our districts and our assemblies. Your Excellency also directed that when it comes to feeding the children in the schools, we should not procure the food items and the ingredients and the things that they need in Accra. We must transfer the money directly to the schools in the districts, and the headmasters must procure whatever they need in the community where the school is located. Again, just imagine the number of secondary schools across the country, the number of school children who must be fed in those secondary schools, and the amount of procurement that will take place in those communities, and the payments to the service providers, and how that will lubricate the economy of those communities and give local businesses a real opportunity to also thrive and grow. So, Mr. Excellency, so far, so good. We are very proud of your initiatives, and this forum is testament to your commitment to foster dialogue among entrepreneurs, to create the platform for collaboration between entrepreneurs, the bankers, and governmental agencies, so that together we can fashion out a strategy for moving forward and indeed making Ghana a great and better place to live in. I thank you very much, and I wish you every success in this gathering.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader in Ghana's Parliament, Honorable Mahama Ayariga. With a standing ovation and a resounding applause, let's welcome His Excellency. Let's welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you. Kindly resume your seat. Thank you very much. Let me welcome all of you and thank you for this opportunity. Before I read my official speech, I'll just make a few preliminary remarks. Last year, as part of the campaign for the 2024 elections, we came to attend the Kwahu Easter celebrations. And while we were planning the trip, my friend and co-conspirator, the Honorable Julius Deborah, formulated an idea that as part of attending the celebrations, we should organize a forum so that I could use it as a platform to explain what my economic policies were going to be and how they were going to assist business people to be able to transform their businesses and grow their businesses. And so we contacted a few business people, and they thought it was a brilliant idea. And so that is how the idea of the Kwahu Business Forum was born. But at that forum, I made a pledge that if God's favor shined on me and I became president, I will come back the next year and we'll organize the forum again, bigger and better. And that when I was coming, I was going to bring my relevant ministers, heads of institutions, banks, and everybody relevant for the growth of business. And so today, in fulfillment of that promise, I'm here with my key ministers, several heads of financial institutions, and relevant agencies that can assist the private sector not only to transform, but to grow. And so for me, my happiness is that the Kwahu Easter festivities is not only one for fun seekers. The perception that Ghanaians have about Kwahu Easter is to come and have fun and enjoy ourselves. But from today, Kwahu Easter is also about building businesses. It's about building the private sector. And let me say that while the forum is labeled the Kwahu Business Forum, it is just a testament of the acumen of Kwahu business people, but it is not only for Kwahu businessmen. It's open to all Ghanaian businessmen, foreigners, Ghanaians, anybody who wants to come and attend and network is invited to attend this forum. The world is changing and new opportunities are being thrown up. And we as a country must take advantage of those opportunities. From the era of the Cold War, we had the era of globalization. In all these stages, Africa continued to lose out. But I think that the opportunity is beginning to come for Africa because world geopolitics is changing. We all can take note of the trade wars that are taking place between the economically mighty countries. It is creating global shifts in terms of production. And this is the opportunity that Africa must take. And so let us shake ourselves out of the mindset that we are traders, because we can be manufacturers, we can be industrialists, we can be digital entrepreneurs, we can be agribusinessmen, we can be large-scale commercial farmers, we can be anything that we want. And so with the shift in the global geopolitics, opportunities, new opportunities are being created. And as long as the Trumpian things continue happening, it makes the world a bit more unpredictable. And the more unpredictable the world is, the more opportunity it creates for those who have been marginalized for a long time. I want to thank Nana Chairman for the comments he made about the Afram Plains. And I want to assure him that Afram Plains is in our sight in terms of its agricultural potential and agro-processing. We've labeled Afram Plains a special agro-processing zone, SAPZ. And in line with the same program that the African Development Bank is pursuing, we intend to achieve substantial funding from the African Development Bank for investment in the Afram Plains, both in terms of agriculture and agro-processing. But to be able to do that, we must first put in the infrastructure. And so under the big push, we have put the bridge at Echiamam from under the big push to construct the bridge so that we can take the ferry away. And then also we've targeted the main roads in the Afram Plains area to rehabilitate them so that it can ease doing business in the area. Let me thank both the majority and minority leader for attending. For me, it sends a signal that this is a non-partisan business forum, and that it is open to everybody, notwithstanding one's political affiliation. And my hope is that future presidents who succeed me will continue to adopt this as a forum that must continue, no matter which party is in power. But I'd like to make my last comment on the issue the minority leader raised. And it's not only him. There are several businessmen who have told me that one of the major hindrances they face in business is not even capital. It is getting trusted people to work with. If somebody comes to work for you, he thinks that your business is a platform for him also to build his business. And it's not only him who has had that experience. I've had it too. I bought a bus for a relative to run transport business so that he can look after the family at home and stop disturbing me on my small parliamentary salary. And they gave it to a driver who was a relative. Good driver though. The first thing he did was he went and put a carrier on the bus. And anytime you saw the bus had more load on top of it than in the bus. And so what happened? The axle broke down. And it was the most regrettable experience in my life. When the axle broke down, they came to me to buy a new axle. So the reason for buying the bus had been defeated. Anytime the bus broke down, they would come to me to come and repair it. And it was costing me more to repair the bus than if I had just been momoing the money to them. But you know what happened? This driver used to live in the family house. While he was driving the bus, he procured the land. He started to build a house. The house reached lintel level when the bus finally broke down. And by then I had had enough. So I refused to repair the bus and decided to dispose of it. And so I sold the bus. This was like several years, many years, more than 10 years ago. And since I sold the bus, where the building reached lintel level, it is still at lintel level even till today. And so what he says is very serious, getting trusted people to work with. And so we must look at that aspect of the restraints to industry. And I know that even some business people and industrialists are going out of, like he said, are going out of the country and bringing foreigners to come and manage their businesses. It's an indictment on our human resource. And it's something that we must begin to think about and find ways of creating a core of management that is dedicated to working to build a business. Because what they forget is as the business grows, you get better remunerated, you benefit more. But if you want to suck your pound of flesh out of the business and kill it and move on, then no industry is going to grow and survive. And so that is an issue that we need to take up so that we all can think how we can manage to create a core of Ghanaian business managers who are dedicated, who have integrity, and who will work to grow the businesses so that they survive and create more opportunities for our young people. And so those were the preliminary comments, but I have a speech here, so let me inflict it on you. I'm sorry. You have to stay a few more minutes and listen to this speech. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to be here in Mpraiso in the heart of Kwahu, home to industrious and resilient people, and a place that has become a vital center for Ghana's entrepreneurial and investment dialogue. I thank the organizers of the Kwahu Business Forum for sustaining this important platform, which has quickly become a feature in our national economic conversation. This year's theme, the future of business, the role of the financial sector, could not be more relevant. The financial sector is the bloodstream of any economy. Without it, businesses cannot grow and jobs cannot be created, and innovation cannot thrive. Let me begin with the state of our economy. We are all aware of the challenges our country has faced in recent years: soaring inflation, a weakened cedi, rising debt levels, and a decline in investor confidence. These challenges have weighed heavily on businesses and households alike, but I'm confident, and I say this with sincerity, that we will turn the corner. There are early signs of macroeconomic stabilization. Inflation is gradually easing, the currency is stabilizing, and with disciplined management, we shall restore a measure of confidence in our economy. But ladies and gentlemen, recovery alone is not enough. We must now set our sights higher on transformation of the economy. We must build an economy that is resilient, inclusive, and productive. And this cannot be achieved without a financial sector that works not just for a few, but for every Ghanaian business, from the roadside vendor to the massive industrialist. Our vision for Ghana's future business landscape is bold and deliberate. We are pursuing a targeted program in restoring investor confidence by enhancing transparency, cutting bureaucratic red tape, and promoting a rules-based investment climate. We're prioritizing sectors that can absorb labor and grow our economy sustainably, like agro-processing, ICT, manufacturing, tourism, renewable energy, and the green economy. But our focus is not only on attracting foreign investment. We're equally committed to empowering Ghanaians to become owners and drivers of enterprise. And this is why this government will support the private sector, not just with policy, but with decisive action. We will expand access to affordable financing through financial institutions like the commercial banks, the Ghana Development Bank, the Women's Development Bank, and partnership with other private financial institutions. We'll support small and medium enterprises with targeted financing, tax incentives, and technical support. We'll modernize infrastructure, including roads, logistics, and digital connectivity, to create an environment where businesses can thrive. We'll reduce the cost of borrowing by reforming credit systems and supporting blended finance instruments. And we'll retool the financial sector to serve the real economy, not just government borrowing or speculative trading. We also will launch a national venture capital fund to support youth and women-led businesses and introduce regulatory reforms that encourage banks and financial institutions to lend to the productive sectors of the economy. And in all this, financial inclusion will be at the heart of this agenda. No economy can grow if its people remain excluded from the formal financial systems. We'll work with banks, fintechs, and mobile money operators to expand access to financial services, particularly in rural and underserved communities. Nana Chairman, distinguished guests, the future of business in Ghana must be digital, it must be green, and it must be inclusive. We're entering an era where digital infrastructure is as important as roads and other infrastructure. As part of our 24-hour economy strategy, we'll create the conditions through reliable electricity supply, logistics, and public safety for businesses to operate around the clock. This will boost productivity, create jobs, and expand opportunities across the country. But in trying to transform our country, an important ingredient is the requirement of skills. And that's why we're introducing a Jobs and Skills Compact, bringing together government, industry, and academia to align education and training with the needs of the changing job market. We'll provide incentives to companies that create sustainable, decent jobs and support youth entrepreneurship to unlock the creativity of our young people. Our vision is of a Ghana where no young person needs to leave their hometown in search of opportunities, where our communities will become hubs of innovation, enterprise, and decent work. To truly enable business growth, we must go beyond economic policy. It requires a firm commitment to rule of law, political stability, and respect for contracts and property rights. It also requires a responsive, corruption-free public service that sees the private sector not just as a source of revenue, but as a partner in development. And that is why forums like these are important. They allow us to listen, to engage, and to co-create policies that work for us. Your insights and innovations are critical to the national reset that we have embarked upon. Ladies and gentlemen, Nana Chairman, in conclusion, the future of Ghana will not be determined by government alone. It will be determined by our ability to build partnerships between the state and private sectors, between finance and innovation, and between leadership and the people. The Kwahu Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all. And so on this note, it's my honor and privilege to declare the 2025 Kwahu Business Forum duly open. Thank you, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama. Kwahu Business Forum is more than just an event. Thank you once again, His Excellency. Let's give that for His Excellency. Let's do it one more time. One more time. So At this moment, we will be having presentations and speeches from our MDs from the banks. We'll be having the first batch of presentation and speeches by the MDs, after which we'll be having the networking and photo ops. Then it will proceed in that manner. So first, to give us a presentation, will be the MD for GCB Bank PLC, Farhan Al-Hassan.
Good morning. So I don't know what my crime is to be called to speak after the president. Anytime you listen to him, you begin to wonder whether he's a banker, an economist, or an agriculturalist. I think his speech has laid a very good foundation for what we want to discuss today. Unfortunately, I don't have a speech to inflict on you. I would want to just speak from the heart, because engaging the Chief of Staff, it has become clear that this is not a forum for words, it's a forum for action. On that note, Nana, Mr. Chairman, Your Excellency, the President, the Chief of Staff and his deputies, ministers, members of Parliament, esteemed guests, fellow managing directors, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great honor to address this business forum, a forum of like-minded individuals and institutions aligned towards one shared purpose, a purpose to rebuild, reimagine, and reignite the economic destiny of our dear country. But first of all, let me salute the President for this bold initiative. Our presence here gives ample testimony, thank you, to the timeless truth that leadership indeed matters. True leadership with vision has an impact. And this is what we are seeing today. You inspire us a lot, Mr. President. I'd like to also thank you for your very impressive submission on Ghana's economic revitalization. Listening to you, it is very clear that at the heart of what you want to leave behind as your legacy is the industrialization of our dear country. I am happy to tell you that GCB is very proud to be at the forefront of this economic recovery. In doing so, we intend to support businesses like yourselves to transition from mere importation into local production. Because in our view, that is the best way to get ourselves out of where we are today. We have engaged among ourselves, and we believe that having a strategy is just one part of it. The next thing is to restructure yourselves to be able to deliver on that strategy. And so today, if you walk into our bank, you will see us fully aligned towards agribusiness, towards manufacturing, and of course, towards trade. In agribusiness, over the years, many banks have shied away from supporting primary agriculture. And the question I always ask my colleagues is, if you don't support primary agriculture, how do you then get the produce to even support agri-processing and the value chain? And so we are committed to supporting even at the onset of the agricultural process. So never again would you come to GCB and we'll tell you that we cannot support your business if it is primary agriculture. We are keen to support businesses along the full value chain from agribusiness to exportation. Again, one of the things we think our customers face is access to long-term finance. So project financing has become a very scarce rare thing in our industry. most businessmen are looking for long-term funds to put up factories. And Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, it will not be possible for us to really achieve that industrialization if banks are not keen or able to find long-term financing to support building factories that would get us to where we want to get to. And so we've been engaging DBG and other DFIs to see how we can access long-term financing to support businesses, build factories, build local capacity to export whatever they are bringing into those factories. It is something that we are keen on as a business. Beyond that is also the GCB way of linking businesses to be able to export onto the other markets. And I think Mr. President rightly said it, that the challenges that we are facing between America and China presents a very good opportunity for us here as entrepreneurs to see how we can take advantage to export a lot of our raw materials onto the international market. The major challenge that businesses have in this is the fact that the standards that we produce in Ghana are below the standards that are being accepted at the international market. And so we are working again with Ghana Export Promotion and perhaps very soon with Free Zones Authority to be able to get protocols in these international markets that would allow you to be able to export into those markets. There's a lot more that we'll be doing, but I'm sure I will leave the podium for my colleague MDs to also come and share with you what we are doing collectively to support and reset the country as Mr. President desires. In conclusion, I'd just like to reaffirm the commitment of GCB to your cause. This bank has been with you for 70 years. We are not going anywhere. We'll be with you through crisis. We'll be with you through difficult moments. And I think the purpose of a bank is not to only support businesses or the economy when things are right in the economy. It is for us to also help fix the economy. So I'd like to give you the commitment of GCB to this particular cause. Thank you very much, and I look forward to having the conversation.
In that medium, now he has become a big boy or a big girl, moving from just micro, small into medium, now importing, sometimes exporting. Our proposition across the three then means that our contribution to the economy across all these three, number one, in that micro space, we have given over 700,000 in number loans. In the small to medium space, we've given over 50,000 customers loans. A total loan of what we have done there is over 3.6 billion. And I dare say that by the time the year is over, we would have crossed over 4 billion just for that. I know the Minister of Agri-Trade also spoke about taking customers to China to experience what is there. Indeed, CBG, we did that 2 years ago. We've done it twice in the last 2 years. We took the first cohort of about 50, second cohort of about 50. Now, when we took them to China, the proposition was simple. We know some of them want to export. What do we do to help them to export? Some of them want to import. What do we do to help them to import? We had various conversations with their suppliers, and I must say that because of those conversations, first cohort, second cohort, in the last 2 years alone, their businesses have grown by over 40%. We just don't give loans, Nana. We just don't give loans. You will typically find CBG in the north, in the west, central, putting together customers like this, training them on any kind of thing that SME needs, bookkeeping, trade, etc. In the last few years, we've trained over 19,300 SMEs, about half of them being women. We have also trained our staff to be able to handle the things that I'll be talking about in the next 2 or 3 slides. Next. The world has recognized what we have done. Euromoney, back to back, has looked at the CBG proposition for the micro, for the small, and for the medium. And I said that the way we have run it, they can only make us market leaders. And so for years, 2 years, 3 years back to back, we've been noted as the market leaders for SME. And here, I must say a very big thank you to our board chairman, ex-board chairman. He's currently here, Nana Abre-Apia. If Nana Abre-Apia is here, he can just give us a wave. Let me also say a big thank you to Danielado. If Danielado is here, our former MD, he also led the conversations for the foundation. Going into the future, therefore, I know our minister has spoken. And the minister focused on 4 major areas. Number 1, agribusiness. What we want to do in this space is not just agribusiness on the face of agribusiness, but we are starting from the inputs all the way to support services. Exports. So we set up an agribusiness desk last month, export desk last month. And then we're also focusing on women. Now, we want that young girl to walk into a CBG branch, to know that when you go into or come into a CBG branch, the way you are served is different. We want that old woman to come into a CBG branch to know that the way you are served is very different. Next. 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 To conclude, these are the things we'll be offering going forward. Number 1, in the micro small, today we do up to about $1 million. We want to increase it to 2 million. In agric and exports, we can assure you that we are looking at it on the value chain. Women's banking, as I said, we also want to look at it. But the good news I bring to you is what we call the CBG adoption program. In that CBG adoption program, we are adopting 5 companies. Number 1, we'll give you a rate that nobody else can give you. Number 2, we're also going to ensure that we give you free banking. So whatever it is that you pay on banking, whether it's COT, etc., it will be free. We'll focus on 1, manufacturers, agribusiness, and exports. To conclude, let me quote from Paul. Paul, in his old age, said something. He said, he planted. But even though he planted, he wasn't the one who watered. Apollos was the one who watered. And God eventually gave the harvest. Let me tell you, when it comes to CBG, you plant, just plant. CBG will be there to water. And when we water, we will tell you that that thing that we keep saying, that we stand with you, in that watering, you'd experience we stand with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We were supposed to have a coffee break, but unfortunately, for the benefits of time, we would want to continue with the presentation. At this point, I would want to call on Matthew Macklin, who will be representing the SIO IFC World Bank Group and Ambaki Group. Let's welcome him whilst he walks onto the podium. We can do it big. We can do it big.
Good afternoon. Thank you. One correction, I represent not the World Bank, but Insight Consulting. And also on the schedule it says that my partner Kwesi Anim will also be speaking. He will not, he just defers to me. And I'll still keep it brief if that's okay. Kwesi, if you could stand up so everyone knows he's in charge of Amber Key here in Ghana. He's my partner. Very briefly about me and why am I here. I came in from Dubai to be here today. I represent an international perspective. And while I may not be doing business directly in your town, I think it would be important to share an international perspective on how what's going on in Ghana, what's going on with international lending.